The red ships fell from the sky like burning stars, their metal surfaces shining with strange light that made them hard to see clearly. Commander Vextar stood on the bridge of the largest vessel, his 4 bright yellow eyes studying the blue and green planet below. His mouth opened slightly, showing rows of sharp teeth as he smiled. "Look at this beautiful world," he said to the alien standing beside him. "Our information says these humans are still new to space travel. They will make perfect hunting targets." Vex was over 9 feet tall, covered in thick armor-like skin that could stop bullets. His long claws could cut through solid steel like paper. He belonged to a race called the Zephyrians, who had hunted dangerous creatures across many worlds for thousands of years. They were famous throughout the galaxy as the best hunters alive. "How many hunting parties should we send down first?" asked his assistant, checking the glowing screen in front of him. "Start with 20 groups," Vextar replied. "Spread them across the planet. I want to see what kind of fighters these humans really are before we begin the real hunt." Far below on Earth, Dr. Kim Hanna was working late at the Sol Observatory. She had been watching the stars through her telescope when she first saw the strange ships entering the atmosphere. Her hands shook as she adjusted the telescope controls to get a better look. These ships did not move like peaceful visitors. They moved like wolves circling prey. She quickly picked up her phone and called the emergency line. "This is Dr. Kim at Sol Observatory. We have unknown aircraft entering our airspace. They are not following any normal flight patterns." In the deep forests of Gangwon Province, the first alien hunting teams were setting up their camps. Their ships became invisible, using advanced technology that human radar could not detect. The Zephyrians unpacked weapons that could destroy anything from very far away. They had been studying Earth for months, learning about human weapons and how human soldiers fought wars. "These creatures use such simple tools," laughed one hunter as he watched recordings of human military training. "Metal bullets and explosive devices. How primitive." "Do not become too confident," warned the team leader. "Even weak prey can be dangerous if cornered." The Zephyrians had hunted on 43 different worlds. They had killed creatures with acid blood, monsters with steel hides, and beasts that could breathe fire. Every alien race they had encountered fought alone, relying only on their own strength and speed. This was why the Zephyrians always won, but deep in those same forests, something was stirring that the aliens did not understand. Sergeant Park Jimin crouched behind a large tree, his hand resting on the head of his companion. Storm was not an ordinary wolf. He weighed almost as much as a small car, with fur as black as midnight, and eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. Jimin and Storm had been partners for 8 years. They had trained together, fought together, and saved each other's lives many times. The bond between them was deeper than friendship, or even family. They could sense each other's thoughts and feelings without speaking or making any sound. "Something is wrong," Jimin whispered, though he knew Storm already understood. The wolf's ears were pointed forward, and his body was tense with worry. Through their connection, Jimin could feel what Storm sensed. Strange smells in the air. Sounds that did not belong in the forest. The presence of creatures that had never walked on Earth before. Storm turned his massive head toward his human partner. In his amber eyes, Jimin saw a question that needed no words. Should they investigate these strangers, or should they call for backup first? Jimin made his decision quickly. He pulled out a special radio that could not be tracked or listened to by normal technology. "This is Wolfpack 1, he said quietly into the device. "Unknown contacts in Sector 7, requesting immediate support from all bonded units. Across South Korea and around the world, similar calls were being made. In the mountains, Captain Lee Suman received the message while sitting beside her bonded eagle. Wind. The great bird's sharp eyes could see for miles, and lately he had been restless. Sensing danger in the sky, in the coastal waters near Busan, Lieutenant Nam Hagen was working with his partner, a killer whale named Thunder. The massive sea creature had been acting strangely all week, diving deep and surfacing with worried clicks and whistles. The Zephyrians thought they were hunting a world of simple creatures who fought with basic weapons and no coordination. They expected to find humans who would panic and run when faced with superior alien technology. They planned to collect their trophies and leave Earth empty and lifeless, just as they had done to so many other worlds. What they did not know was that humans had not conquered Earth by defeating its dangerous animals. Instead, they had made friends with them. For thousands of years, humans and animals had been partners, not enemies. Together, they had become something much stronger than either species could be alone. The hunt was about to begin, but the Zephyrians had made a terrible mistake. They thought they were the predators, but they were about to discover that on Earth, the real hunters had been waiting for them all along. Dr. Lee Soman walked carefully through the foggy valley near the border between North and South Korea. She led a team of 12 people from different countries who had come to meet the aliens. Her years of studying strange life forms had taught her to notice danger, and right now every part of her body was telling her something was very wrong. The alien message had arrived 3 days ago on every major communication system on Earth. It was written in perfect Korean, English, and Chinese. The grammar was too good, the word choices too exact. No alien learning human languages should be able to write so perfectly so quickly. Dr. Lee called James Morrison, the American diplomat, walking behind her. "Are you sure about this meeting location? It feels too isolated." "The aliens chose this spot," she replied, checking her equipment one more time. "They said they wanted somewhere quiet for our first talk." The morning mist was thick around them, making it hard to see more than a few feet in any direction. The only sounds were their footsteps on the wet grass and the distant calls of birds waking up. Then, suddenly, even the birds went silent. The aliens appeared so suddenly that several humans jumped backward in fear. One moment there was nothing but empty air, and the next moment 5 massive creatures stood in front of them. They had been completely invisible, hidden by technology beyond human understanding. Commander Vexstar was the largest of the group. He stood nearly 10 feet tall, covered in thick plates of natural armor that looked like dark metal. His skin reflected the weak sunlight filtering through the clouds. When he moved, his long claws extended from his fingers like curved knives. "Welcome," Dr. Lee said, raising both hands with her palms facing forward to show she carried no weapons. "We come in peace, hoping to learn about your people and share knowledge." The alien commander looked down at her with his 4 yellow eyes. A small device on his chest began making strange clicking sounds, and then perfect Korean words came from a speaker. "Yes, we also want to learn," Vexter said, his real voice a deep growling sound that made the humans step backward. "We want to understand your kind before we begin hunting you. Tell us, where do you hide your strongest warriors? What are the most dangerous creatures on your world?" The words hit the human team like a physical blow. Dr. Lee felt her heart stop beating for a moment. Around her, she heard sharp intakes of breath from the other team members. This was not a diplomatic meeting. These creatures were not here to make friends. "I think there has been a misunderstanding," Dr. Lee said, trying to keep her voice calm, even though her hands were shaking. "We thought you wanted to establish peaceful relations between our peoples." Vexstar's mouth opened, showing rows of teeth like a shark. What might have been laughter came from his throat. "Peaceful? No, little creature. We are hunters. We travel from world to world, finding the most dangerous prey and taking trophies. Your planet will provide excellent sport." Captain Cho Min, the South Korean military officer assigned to protect the team, slowly moved his hand toward his sidearm. His movement was careful and quiet, but the aliens noticed immediately. All 5 of them turned their heads toward him like predators, focusing on prey. "We should run," whispered Dr. Sarah Chen, the Chinese scientist standing next to Li. "We should run right now." But it was already too late. The alien weapons made no sound when they fired. Beams of bright blue energy shot from devices that looked like twisted metal sculptures. The first beam hit Captain Cho directly in the chest, and he simply disappeared, turned into a cloud of ash that scattered in the morning breeze. The slaughter lasted less than half a minute. Energy beams swept across the human team like invisible swords. People screamed for just a moment before they were reduced to nothing but gray powder floating in the air. The smell of burned metal and something worse filled the valley. Dr. Li survived only because she threw herself behind a large stone when the shooting started. She pressed her body against the cold rock and listened to the terrible sounds around her: energy weapons firing, brief screams, the satisfied growling of the alien commander. "Excellent," she heard Vexter say to his companions. "The prey shows proper fear. This will be an entertaining hunt." He paused, then spoke louder. "Begin the great hunt. Kill everything that moves on this world." As soon as the aliens moved away, Dr. Li activated the emergency beacon hidden in her jacket. The small device sent out a signal on every military frequency, carrying a coded message that would reach command centers around the world. Within minutes, she ran through the forest as fast as her legs could carry her, branches tearing at her clothes and face. Behind her, she could hear the aliens laughing as they discussed their hunting plans. They talked about humans the same way people might discuss hunting deer or rabbits. At Osan Air Base, General Yang Taiho was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency signal reached his communications center. He read the message twice, his face growing pale, then pressed a red button on his desk that connected him directly to the most secret military networks on Earth. "This is Control," he said into the secure phone. "Authorization code, White Tiger 7. Activate Protocol Baiko immediately. Send the following message to all bonded units worldwide. The pack runs at dawn." The real war was about to begin. Staff Sergeant Odeho lay flat in the cold Siberian snow, his body pressed against the white ground. Next to him, Bahram stretched his massive orange and black striped body, weighing more than 3 grown men put together. The tiger was enormous, but he moved without making even the smallest sound. Deho felt his heartbeat slow down to match his partner's rhythm. This always happened when they prepared for battle. After 8 years together, their bodies worked like parts of the same machine. When Bahram was calm, Deho became calm. When Deho felt excited, Bahram's muscles would tense with the same energy. Below them in the valley, 5 alien hunters moved through the pine trees. They carried strange weapons that glowed with blue light, and their yellow eyes scanned the forest, looking for human prey. Their advanced equipment showed them heat patterns from warm bodies, and they could see 2 separate signatures moving through the woods ahead of them. "Perfect," growled the lead Zephyrian in his own language. 2 humans running in panic. They have separated from each other in their fear. Easy targets. What the aliens did not know was that those 2 heat signatures belonged to Deho and Bahram. The alien scanners could detect their body warmth, but they could not detect the invisible mental connection that linked the human soldier and his tiger partner. Deho did not need to speak or make hand signals to tell Bahram what to do. The tiger already knew the plan, because they shared the same thoughts. Deho would provide the careful thinking and use his rifle, while Bahram would use his natural hunting skills and incredible strength. High above them, Lieutenant Park Minji sat on the back of her bonded eagle named Thunder. The great bird's wings spread wide as he rode the cold air currents without effort. Through their shared vision, Minji could see the entire battlefield from above, like looking at a map. She counted 12 other bonded pairs moving quietly through the forest around the alien hunting party. Each pair was different. Some humans worked with wolves, others with large cats, and a few had partnered with bears. All of them were closing in on the aliens like the points of a star. The Zephyrians walked forward confidently, believing they were the hunters in this situation? Their leader pointed his weapon toward where he thought the first human was hiding. He had no idea that Bahram was crouched in the branches of a tree directly above his head. The attack happened faster than thought. Bahram dropped from the tree like a falling stone, his 300 kilograms of muscle and bone hitting the alien leader with the force of a small car. At the exact same moment, Deho's rifle fired from his hiding spot, and the second alien fell backward with a hole burned through his armored chest. The three remaining Zephyrians spun around in confusion. Their leader was already dead under Bahram's claws, and they could not understand where the gunshot had come from. To them, it seemed like the forest itself had suddenly become their enemy. Impossible, one of them shouted. Our scanners show no coordination between these creatures. But before he could say anything else, a massive brown bear charged out of the bushes with Sergeant Kim Taeyong riding on its back. The alien tried to raise his weapon, but the bear was too fast and too strong. Meanwhile, two wolves appeared from different directions, working together with their human partners to surround the last aliens. The entire battle lasted less than 2 minutes. When it was over, all 5 Zephyrian hunters lay dead in the snow, and not one human or animal had been injured. Far away in the Amazon rainforest, Corporal Kim Jin-woo moved silently through the green shadows with his jaguar partner, Whisper. The spotted cat was smaller than Bahram, but twice as quick. Together they had been tracking an alien hunting party for 3 hours. The Zephyrians below them were using their technology to scan for human settlements. They wanted to find villages where they could hunt many people at once, but they never noticed the jaguar moving through the trees above them, or the human soldier who could predict exactly where they would step next. Jinwoo and Whisper struck like lightning, eliminating the entire hunting party before the aliens even knew they were under attack. The jaguar's natural stealth combined with human military training created something the aliens had never faced before. In the cold waters near the Arctic, Petty Officer Han Sora swam alongside a pod of killer whales, led by her bonded partner, Storm, the massive black and white whale could hold his breath for over an hour and dive deeper than any human submarine. The Zephyrian water scouts had landed their ships on the ice, thinking they were safe from any Earth creatures. They did not know that killer whales could work together to tip over ice floes, or that they could swim fast enough to catch anything that fell into the freezing water when Storm and his pod attacked the alien ships. It looked like a natural disaster. The ice cracked and tilted, dumping the surprised aliens into water so cold it would kill them in minutes. But the killer whales made sure they did not last even that long. All around Earth, the same scene repeated. The Zephyrians had come expecting to hunt simple animals and primitive humans. Instead, they found themselves fighting against an alliance that had been growing stronger for thousands of years. Humans and animals working together as partners, each making the other more dangerous than either could be alone. The aliens were learning too late that on Earth, no predator hunted alone. Commander Vexstar stood in front of a wall of glowing screens inside his command ship, his 4 yellow eyes moving quickly from one display to another. Each screen showed a red mark where one of his hunting teams had stopped sending signals. 7 teams in 12 hours. This had never happened before in all his years of hunting across the galaxy. Report, he growled at the communication officer, his claws scraping against the metal floor. Sir, we have lost contact with hunting parties 3 through 9, the officer replied, his voice shaking slightly. The last messages we received were, ... Strange. Strange, how? They spoke of humans who moved like wild animals, and animals that seemed to think like soldiers. One team leader said the forest was fighting back against them. Vexter's armored plates shifted as he turned to face his tactical advisor. That is impossible. Our studies show these humans have simple radio, communications, and basic military equipment. They cannot coordinate attacks without technology we can detect. But what the alien commander did not understand was happening in the forests around his base, At that very moment, Sergeant Lim Hoon-woo lay on his stomach behind a fallen log, surrounded by 6 large wolves. 2 alien sensors, they looked like separate creatures scattered randomly through the woods. In reality, they moved together like fingers on the same hand. Hyun-woo did not need to speak to his wolf partners. Through their mental bond, he shared his knowledge of military tactics, while they shared their natural hunting instincts. The wolves knew exactly when to move, where to position themselves, and how to attack as one coordinated unit. The wolf pack spread out in a wide circle around the alien base. Each animal found a hiding spot and waited. They could smell the fear coming from inside the alien camp, even though the creatures inside thought they were safe behind their energy shields and advanced weapons. High above the forest, Captain Moon Ga rode on the back of her bonded raven named Sky. The large black bird was one of 12 ravens that worked together like a living communication network. What one raven saw, all of them knew instantly. What Moon Ga learned through Sky's eyes, she could share with human soldiers hundreds of kilometers away. Through Sky's sharp vision, Moon Ga watched alien scouts moving through the forest below. She did not need to use radio or computer signals to warn other human teams. The information flowed through the Raven network faster than any electronic message, and the aliens had no way to detect or block it. The enemy is moving in pattern 7, she whispered to Sky, knowing that within seconds every bonded pair in the area would know the aliens' exact positions and plans. As dawn broke over the mountains, Commander Vexstar made his biggest mistake. Frustrated by the loss of his hunting teams, he decided to send 50 of his best warriors on one massive hunting expedition. They would sweep through the forest and kill everything that moved, ending this embarrassing resistance once and for all. The 50 Zephyrian warriors marched out of their base in perfect formation, their weapons charged and their armor gleaming in the morning sunlight. They had advanced scanning equipment, energy shields, and enough firepower to destroy a small city. They were confident that no primitive Earth creatures could stand against such a force. They made it exactly 800 meters from their base before the counterattack began. Master Sergeant On Byung-ho had been waiting for this moment for 2 days. His partner, a brown bear named Mountain, weighed over 400 kilograms and stood 3 meters tall on his back legs. Together, they had positioned themselves on a hill overlooking the only path the aliens could take. The attack came from all sides at once. Mountain charged down the hill like a furry avalanche while On Byung-ho provided covering fire with his rifle. At the same time, wolf packs attacked from the left and right. Jaguar teams struck from behind, and eagle-bonded humans coordinated the assault from above. The alien warriors found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to know their every move before they made it. When they turned to face the bear attack, wolves hit them from behind. When they formed defensive positions against the wolves, the jaguars appeared from directions their sensors said were empty. Within 10 minutes, 43 of the 50 aliens were dead. The 7 survivors ran back toward their base in complete panic, their advanced weapons useless against an enemy that fought with coordination beyond their understanding. But even retreat offered no safety. Specialist Na Subin and her bonded wolf pack had spent 3 days preparing for this moment, using human intelligence to plan and wolf instincts to execute. They had turned the area around the alien base into one giant trap, hidden pits covered with branches and leaves weighted along every escape route. Carefully positioned logs would roll down hills at exactly the right moment to block alien retreat paths. The wolves had even learned to trigger human-made explosives at the perfect time to cut off enemy movements. The surviving Zephyrians stumbled through a nightmare landscape where every tree might hide an enemy, every shadow might conceal death, and every step might be their last. They had come to Earth as hunters, but now they were prey, running for their lives through a forest that had turned completely against them, for the first time in their long history as galactic predators. The Zephyrians understood what it felt like to be hunted by something smarter, faster, and more coordinated than themselves. The roles had completely reversed, and Earth's bonded defenders had become the apex predators of this war. The final battle began at sunrise, when every bonded defender on Earth received the same silent message through their animal partners. From the frozen mountains of Alaska to the hot deserts of Australia, from the deep Amazon rainforest to the busy cities of Asia, the call went out without a single radio transmission or electronic signal. Commander Vexstar stood in his command ship, watching screens that showed alien bases all over the planet. Red warning lights flashed as one position after another came under attack. His claws scraped against the metal controls as he tried to understand what was happening. "Sir," called his communication officer, "we are receiving attack reports from every continent. Somehow the humans are coordinating a global assault, but our sensors detect no electronic communications between them." In the Korean mountains, Colonel Jang Woo-jin ran through the snow on the back of his bonded wolf, Storm. The massive wolf carried his human partner effortlessly over terrain that would slow down any vehicle. Above them, Major Song Yuna flew with her Eagle Squadron, 12 giant eagles, each carrying a human soldier. The alien base below them looked like a metal fortress with energy shields and automatic weapons, but the Zephyrians inside had made their defenses to fight against technology, not against the ancient partnership between humans and animals. Storm leaped over the energy barrier as if it was just a small fence. The shields were designed to stop vehicles and missiles, but they could not detect or block a living wolf. Jang Woo-jin fired his rifle at the alien guards while Storm's powerful jaws crushed their weapons at the same time. The Eagle Squadron attacked from above. The aliens tried to shoot them down, but the giant birds moved in ways that confused their targeting computers. They dove and spun through the air like leaves in a storm, dropping their human partners directly into the alien command center. Thousands of kilometers away, the ocean itself seemed to rebel against the Zephyrian naval forces. Commander Lee Hunsu worked with 3 pods of killer whales and a group of dolphins to coordinate attacks on alien ships floating near the coast. To the aliens watching their sensors, it looked like random sea animals were swimming around their vessels. They had no idea that every whale and dolphin was following a careful battle plan created by human military minds, and executed with the intelligence and strength that these sea mammals had developed over millions of years. The killer whales dove deep under the alien ships, then surfaced with enough force to tip the vessels over. The dolphins worked together to confuse the alien sonar systems, making it impossible for the ships to navigate or call for help. When aliens fell into the cold ocean water, they found themselves surrounded by creatures that had no mercy for invaders. Back on his command ship, Commander Vexstar realized that his entire invasion was falling apart. Every alien position on the planet was under attack, and his forces were losing badly. In desperation, he decided to face the human military leaders in personal combat. If he could kill their commanders, perhaps the rest would surrender. He landed his personal fighter near the main human command post in South Korea. Brigadier General Park Chung-ho was waiting for him, standing beside the largest bear Vexstar had ever seen. The brown bear named Mountain stood almost 4 meters tall and weighed as much as a small truck. "I challenge you to single combat," Vexstar roared, extending his razor-sharp claws. "I am Commander Vexstar of the Zephyrian hunting fleet. I have killed the greatest predators on 43 worlds." General Park looked calmly at the alien commander. Mountain moved to stand beside his human partner, and together they prepared to fight. The bear's small eyes were intelligent and focused, while Park's face showed the confidence of a warrior who had never fought alone. The battle was fierce, but short. Vexstar was strong and fast, with natural armor and weapons that had served him well on many worlds. But he had always fought against single opponents who relied only on their own strength. He had never faced enemies who moved together as if they shared the same mind. When Vexstar attacked Park, Mountain was ready to defend. When the alien tried to strike the bear, Park's rifle was already aimed at the right spot. Every move Vec made, they had already planned for. Every attack he attempted, they countered together. "You cannot defeat us," Vexter snarled, as he realized he was losing. "We are the apex predators of the galaxy. We have hunted and killed on dozens of worlds." General Park smiled as Mountain positioned himself for the final attack. The bear's massive paws were ready to end the fight with one powerful blow. "You hunt alone," Park said simply. "We never hunt alone." Those were the last words Vextar heard before Mountain's paw struck him down. Within hours, the surviving Zephyrian forces were fleeing Earth in their damaged ships. As they escaped into space, they sent out a warning message on every communication frequency used by hunter species across the galaxy. "Do not approach the blue world called Earth. The humans have formed alliances with their planet's apex predators. They are not prey. They are the hunters. Stay away." On Earth's surface, the bonded defenders gathered together in the aftermath of their victory. Humans stood beside their animal partners, wolves and tigers, eagles and bears, whales and dolphins. They had proven that the deadliest predators in the universe were not those who hunted with the most advanced technology or the sharpest claws. The deadliest predators were those who hunted as family,